on the internet back in December of 2010. Everyone put your hands together for Mike Vanderbilt.
Thank you. Can you hear me now?
Yep, closer, Mike.
A little closer like that?
Yeah. That's it.
Well, I'll see what I can do. I'm proud to be here in the state of Texas. I'm going to talk on a serious subject. Many of you are not going to like it. What I want to talk about is a consideration of why Temple, Texas is important. Why right now, right here, is the focus of a struggle on a much larger stage. Now, if you go to the dictionary and look up delegitimize, you see the definition is to diminish or destroy the legitimacy, the prestige, or authority of a system, as in delegitimize a government. The Chinese have a traditional philosophical concept called the mandate of heaven, which deals with the legitimacy of rulers. It's similar to the European concept of the divine right of kings, in that both seek to legitimize the rule from divine approval. However, unlike the divine right of kings, the mandate of heaven is predicated on the conduct of the ruler in question. The mandate of heaven postulates that heaven will bless the authority of a just ruler and will be displeased by a despotic ruler and will withdraw its mandate, leading to the overthrow of that ruler. So believe the Chinese, even in the 21st century. In Western civilization, we tend to be a bit more scientific about what makes up political legitimacy. In political science, legitimacy is the popular acceptance of a governing law or regime as an authority. Political legitimacy is considered a basic condition for governing, without which a government will suffer deadlock and collapse. John Locke said that political legitimacy derives from popular explicit and implicit consent. Quote, "The government is not legitimate unless it is carried on with the consent of the governed." Close quote. Now, this is the basis of our founders' republic. It is the essence of the Declaration of Independence. If political legitimacy is a reservoir, the past 20 years of chronic two-party corrupt misgovernance and federally assisted crony capitalism, interspersed with periodic bloody fits like Ruby Ridge and Waco, the sacking of the public treasury and the bailouts, the debasement of our currency, and culminating with the ripping off of the smiling mask of lies in Fast and Furious, the IRS enemies list, the Benghazi debacle, and the attacks on the press presently underway, combine catastrophic drought with dam failure. Government at all levels in this country now are morally, ethically, economically, and spiritually bankrupt.
Hear, hear.
The once mighty reservoir is now a tiny, tiny rivulet of wishful thinking. And what does all this have to do with Temple, Texas? Everything. I came all the way out here from Alabama because what happened here is merely the latest example of the delegitimization of government.
Yep.
And especially law enforcement.
Yep.
In a long line of such sorry episodes. I came here to deliver a warning to all law enforcement officers that they are unthinkingly delegitimizing themselves by identifying themselves as apart from the people and the Constitution that they swore to protect.
That's right.
Yeah. For 20 years and more now, we have watched peace officers turned into paramilitary gangs of armed thugs, responsible only to the politicians who sign their paychecks.
Yeah.
For 20 years and more, we have watched the federalization of our local police and sheriff's departments.
Yep.
This process was accelerated under George Bush's so-called war on terror with the universal fielding of joint task forces and fusion centers. Yet today we see this unconstitutional vertical integration of law enforcement considers you, the armed citizenry, as greater enemies to themselves and the rotten system they seek to protect than the jihadis sent by the late and unlamented Osama bin Laden.
MIAC report.
This country faces many challenges and threats, and the police like to tell us that they are the thin blue line, protecting us from the evil bad guys. But if you read police magazines these days, you will find much about police tactical teams adopting a, quote, warrior ethos.
Sure.
Well, that begs the question. With whom are they at war?
Yep.
The people!
Law-abiding citizens exercising their natural, God-given, and inalienable rights, no matter how rudely. Now let me show you who some members of law enforcement think is the enemy, who they train daily to engage until, like all training, it becomes unthinking and automatic. Here he is. This is a target used by the New Mexico Department of Public Safety. Does it look familiar? It ought to.
Looks like us.
This fellow looks
Yep.
like all of you out there. And the New Mexico people are not the only ones that use targets like this. This is who the so-called law enforcement now considers to be the enemy. Not muggers, not rapists, not even Osama bin Laden, for that would be politically incorrect. Their enemy, my friends, is you.
Yep.
It is us. It is the armed citizenry of the United States. So I say to those members of law enforcement, all of whom took an oath to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, what makes you think that the orders of corrupt politicians trump that oath? What makes you think that our rights are hostage to the anti-firearm neuroses of our neighbors? What part of shall not be infringed don't you understand?
Yep.
And given that you now seem to regard as the enemy of all police, regard us as the enemy of all police, why then should we not regard you as illegitimate? You have delegitimized yourselves.
Yep.
Why then should we regard you? If we are your enemy, why should we not consider you our enemy?
Yep.
How then will you react, Mr. Policeman, when you begin to see targets like this with uniformed police officers on them?
Yep.
Can you give us a good reason why we shouldn't return the favor? This is unpleasant stuff.
Yep.
This is dangerous stuff.
Yep.
But this is what happens when a regime delegitimizes itself.
Yep.
This is what happens when a regime throws away the mandate of heaven. Anarchy, murder, tyranny.
Yep.
And if the law enforcement officers who have forgotten their oaths think that all they have to do is obey their unconstitutional boss's orders in order to draw their pensions, future history will dictate otherwise. And that is why Temple is so important. Thank you.
And bringing awareness to the public in regards to what's going on with our constitutional liberties being taken away from us. Wake Up America is unlike any other organization that's out there. What we can do is take and work seamlessly and simply alongside any organization out there to save our republic. What we've done with Wake Up America, we've taken and merged the concept of network marketing and taken and allowed you to take your political advocacy work and turn it into a business and make money. The globalists, the progressive elites that hold our offices now, they have our money.
Yeah.
We need to be financially capable to take back our offices. Wake Up America allows people to make an income and possibly eventually walk away from their slave job to become a political advocate and have a business and use tax deductions like they use and take over our country. Wake Up America, if we had 10% of the people that were here today, Tuesday night there's a conference call, if we had 10% and those 10% brought one person by next week,
that we have presently today, where it's been powerless to prevent it. I think the evidence is clear that the original shackles that we placed on our government servants were just a little too loose. Because they've slipped them off and they've put them on us.
Yeah.
Now either you're free or you're not. I'm free. And if I'm not, I'm gonna die trying. Thank you.
Okay, well, we're done with the show. Yahweh, God blessed us with no accidents or bad things. And so I walk into my automobile here and feeling blessed, had a good day. And we'll see if, okay.
Yes. Oh, in that case, my name is Rusty Shackelford. Shackelford.
Hey, you just go ahead and call me Boomer, man.
I wish the government would just ban itself. Wrap your head around that, fellas.